After Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's declaration that Israel would annex occupied territory in the West Bank, Palestine, protests around the world erupted in opposition. I was in Brooklyn when this global outcry was taking place and attended a massive protest on July 1st, 2020. Different communities came together to express solidarity with the Palestinian people. Among the many community leaders in attendance was Rabbi Yisroel David Wise, an anti-Zionist Jewish leader. He was there side by side with secular Jewish folks, LGBTQIA+, Black and Indigenous activists who came to support the Palestinian struggle for liberation. Never have I seen so many people from different walks of life united under one cause. I've been to a lot of protests for Palestine in different countries, but in New York, where I live, I don't usually see a large number of people coming to these types of protests. I think Palestine has been such a fringe issue in the US and such a contested topic for the longest time, despite ongoing human rights violations that have been happening for decades. Somehow, the voice of Palestinians and their demand for freedom and basic human rights hasn't been taken seriously in the US, at least by the political class. And to me, as a Palestinian, that really saddens me, and that really feels like my voice isn't heard. So I felt like I needed to document these types of movements, not just for Palestine, for all kinds of different struggles and movements for liberation. But Palestine is the closest one to my heart, so I kept going to these protests and documenting with my camera what has been happening, how people have been demanding justice, what kind of people have been showing up to these protests. So in July 2020, when Benjamin Netanyahu declared that Israel would formally annex occupied territory in the West Bank, there was a huge protest that erupted in Brooklyn, which I went to. And to my surprise, I saw a lot of folks from different communities show up in large numbers. And it felt so beautiful to see that kind of people drawing intersections between their struggles, whether they're Black, Indigenous, people of color, LGBTQ folks, the Jewish community, religious and secular. Everyone showed up and everyone gave speeches in support for Palestine. And that was truly, truly beautiful to see. And I think one of the sites that stood out to me was this rabbi who, him and his group of Orthodox Jewish folks showed up, and they were fully supporting the Palestinian right of return and struggle for liberation. And that was very interesting to see that. Because it's not really a sight you see most places. I think New York is one of those places where you see communities, different, diverse communities come together, and you see a kind of representation of all these different communities that you would never see anywhere else. So I think I was very privileged, or I am very privileged, to be living in New York and to be seeing all these different folks especially come together under this cause and under this umbrella. So I was very thankful for that.
Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're interested in learning more about the photographer, you can check out more of their images and stories on our website, scop.io, and buy our book on any major online retailer or your local bookstore. Tune in to our next episode. And don't forget to subscribe. See ya!